Hello and good evening. How are you doing there, Mr. Elton? And how you doing? You're not doing anything? Nothing?
Uh,
Oh.
you're
How are
muted,
you? Oh, nice. You muted yourself.
unless it's
Awesome.
just me.
No, I just want to say how you doing. Welcome to the UN podcast. Still have no idea what UN stands for. Could be un or the anti or whatever. So man, it is already starting to get warm in here. I just cut my fan off.
Maybe it is me.
Hmm? I guess we're having some problems. All right. Well, trying to see whether or not our third member is going to be able to show up. And as we're doing that, like Elton, try to figure out what's going on with his situation.
Hello, hello.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you too. I don't know what happened.
Oh, it's just my day for electronics, I guess. Dude, I was like an hour late for work because my phone was tripping, and I set it to get up early yesterday, and I forgot. Like while I was going through and checking all kind of stuff, I forgot to redo my alarm. So I woke up at 7:15. Like,
Nice.
oh yeah, awesome.
That's what you needed.
Well, I probably needed the extra hour of sleep. So
Exactly.
yeah, but I'm gonna miss that little bit of change come next pay period. But maybe I'll make it up 5 minutes at a time for the next 2 weeks.
Sneak that in there.
And my camera is it's like my camera's tripping too. Oh, you dude. First my f- like first my phone. Now this just
Your
kind of
camera looks
weak.
fine.
No, it keeps freezing on me.
Oh,
Yeah.
from
So
my end, it looks seamless.
yeah. All right. Well, let's get into. I was gonna try to see if I can stall a little bit to see if Rick shows up, but doesn't look like it's going to be the case. All right. I saw Alien Earth episodes 1 and 2. Right. I actually enjoyed them for the most part. I've seen some folks, some of the people that we kind of follow just going in on it. And it's like, well, they made dumb mistakes. I'm like, well, yeah, in these types of settings, in order for this to work, the companies or whoever has to make really stupid decisions. Just the alien universe. They uh, stick settlements on mysterious planets that are nests for aliens. Like, so essentially this is a prequel, I think. I'm not exactly sure. But it starts off like it has the 1970s aesthetic, so everything looks like the original Aliens movie. So, from the video screens and all that stuff, right? It's kind of weird because like when you first look at it, this is the impression that I got. It feels like you're kind of like you missed an episode because everybody wakes up from sleep. They're collected like the Wayland Utani went out and they collected a bunch of just stuff from all over the place. It looked like this was a 65-year mission or something like that. So that's where it gets a little confusion because there are certain things that happened during the two episodes where it's like I'm like, okay, so they've been gone for 65 years, but they give you an idea of how the Earth is situated. Three corporations control everything. So like one controls South America, one controls North America, another one controls like other bits, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so they just control everything. Government's the whole thing. Um they do the people waking up from storage thing, right? Just like how they did in the aliens movies. Everybody wakes up from storage. They're about 4 months away from the earth. Why everybody's waking up 4 months? I don't know. They don't really go into explanation. What they decided to do, which was interesting, was you know people gonna die on the ship, right? You kind of know that. So in their face, and this is which is kind of weird. In their face, they kind of blend on top them getting killed by one of the aliens or whatever that they have on the ship. So
Oh.
it's weird at first because like what am I looking at? It's like, yeah, it's just chewed up and blah blah blah, like whatever. And they do it to like a lot of the characters, but they're just acting normal. Like they get into an issue where the black dude that you see in the trailer, he's a cyborg. So these three corporations are trying to figure out how to make people immortal, I think, like in life, right? So one is going the robot route, one is going the cyborg route, and the one where the corporation that you kind of follow on this show is the one that's being startup is run by like a young guy who figured some tech out or whatever. So he became the first, like the youngest trillionaire ever, right? So everything like on the ship, everything is normal. Half of them go back to sleep. Eh, But there's some tension because apparently during the mission, and this is why I said it feels like we're missing an episode. During the mission, a bunch of people died collecting all the samples. So they're trying to confront the cyborg guy about this, and he says, no matter what, the mission is the samples. Like all y'all can die as long as we get the samples the back to Earth or wherever the Wayland Yutani uh place is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like adamant about that, and they go back to their separate corners or whatever. So he goes to sleep. Some lady is working on one of the creatures, and like there's a lot of spooky stuff. There's like a little creature with like it's just a giant eyeball with like tentacles, and then you see the face sucker. So the face sucker, and then you see all the other little weird stuff. It's like weird things. And then they go back to sleep, and then they go cut to it's a little girl. She's dying. She has like some kind of terminal illness or whatever. So what the young guy, what his plan for immortality is, and you find this after you see this for a little bit, is to take your entire consciousness and put it into a robot body, like a one that will never age. It kind of looks like you as an adult. And the reason why they're doing it with children is because apparently children's minds are more malleable, so therefore they can handle going in like that transfer, like right now. Right. So they succeed in putting her into this thing. So you get it's a little like time advances, and she seems to be handling it fine. She's sitting on the edge of a cliff. Terrible CGI. Dude, this is horrible. She high on a cliff. She just jumps off the cliff, lands, and they go, back to the base. More conversation, yada yada yada. Hey, we got some more kids to experiment, and then you get a time lapse thing of each kid being put into a new body. All right. So you go through that. You find out that she had like the first girl has a brother, and the brother is like a medic or something like that, right? So he's a medic in this city that seems to be somewhat nearby. I don't know. They don't really reference anything very well. Like I said, it feels like there's an entire episode missing that explains all of this stuff. So cut back to the ship. Then you see the part from the trailer where the lady is like the dude is sitting and typing in to let the corporation know that everybody's dead, and we're heading back. Like it destroyed all the guidance systems on the ship, and we're heading back to Earth, and we have no control over anything. So as he's doing this, the one of the people from the ship that you saw earlier, she's like, let me in. She's banging on the door, let me in, let me in. Like it's coming. And he gets up, he walks over to the door, he uses something with his hand because he's a cyborg, and he welds the door shut so she can't get in. Then she turns around, she's like, "Oh my god!" And then it's one of the xenomorphs just wails on her, or whatever. So he kind of just turns around and nonchalantly walks back, finishes doing what he's doing, and it starts banging on the door. So then he turns, he tells it to open up a crash thing because the ship is crashing into Earth. He goes, sits down in the crash thing. Just as the thing busts in the door, rips the door open, drools on his face. The thing closes up, and it starts banging on the thing, and then the ship crashes into Earth, right? So it's like, all right, crashes into Earth. Then it lands in the middle of a city. Now, the people who wrote this don't seem to understand how if a huge item falls at terminal speed from space, it will cause a giant explosion that will kill everybody in his neighborhood, like wreck everything. It just crashes like it was just flying normally over the city and just crashed. Now, you already established that this thing had no control and it's falling from space. I mean, it's whatever speed that it was going when they lost control of it. How it hit the Earth, I don't know. Because like it doesn't tell you when this happened, and if it lost control a certain distance from the Earth, it would be very hard to actually hit the Earth, right? Unless you were specifically aiming for, you'd have that, like, because the Earth would have to be here and then the ship would have to be, it's like a whole thing that you would have to specifically aim for a spot where the city and the Earth is spun at would actually line up so that you would hit it, right? So it's just, it's more, someone wrote this doesn't understand how science works. Kind of like the fire and space thing is like, they wanted
Right.
something that was cool, right? I'm like, all right, so you can say that he got close enough, it got sucked in by the gravity. Fine. You need to say that at some point. So hopefully at some point they explain how this happened. But so it crashes. The brother is in that city, goes and they go into the ship, and all the creatures are loose, right? And they go into this, like, it's a search and rescue team. They go inside. Like, if you are going into a search and rescue thing, you're going into the building is about to fall on the ship, and you go inside and there's a bunch of freaky stuff every place and dead people with holes in them and bullet things, and just like a bad time happen. Okay. Never mind that the ship crashed and these people would not be in the positions that they're in. So you got killed. You're still laying in the spot where you got killed at, even though the ship crash landed into the planet. Yeah. So I enjoyed both episodes. I turned my brain off. I said, all right, I'm looking at this like this is Resident Evil, and corporations are just evil things that make shockingly stupid decisions. Right? Like the Umbrella Corporation. We're like, all right.
Yeah.
It's like, once you discover that your medicine turns people into crazy zombies, you probably should have stopped, but they didn't. Like, fine. So once I got that into my head, I was like, all right, okay, this is what this is. Wayland is this crazy freaking corporation that just does crazy stuff, like bring deadly creatures that killed off your entire freaking group that you sent to collect them. Don't know how many went. Could have been 3 people, could have been 100 people. You have no idea. They never say. So, but the episode basically ends with the girl who, to tie into there's a theme of everything about Wendy and the Lost Boys. All right. She decided to call herself Wendy. That's not what her name is. She's Wendy. All right. And the other kids are the Lost Boys. They picked names from the Lost Boys. There's like a thing when they go under. There's like a cartoon playing of Peter Pan. So it's like a whole Peter Pan thing happening with this guy. So they go into the ship. Like I won't go into too much detail, but they go on the ship. A bunch of shenanigans happens. The kids, they decide to let the kids go. Now keep in mind, they're still like 10 years old mentally inside the bodies of adults with super strength and super speed and super everything. So they're little kids. So they're acting like little kids. They're like doing little kid stuff, playing with dolls, even though they're in adult bodies. Right? They go into the ship. None of the creatures kind of don't know what to do with them because they're not exactly human. So the creatures are kind of like, yeah, they get attacked by the eye. Like it's a lot of creepy stuff. It's not super creepy and it's not super gory. The xenomorph, the CGI for that is cool. The xenomorph kills a bunch of people at a party, almost kills the brother. Has what's it called it? When the person has to stay alive regardless to how ridiculous it seems that they are staying alive. Plot armor. Brother has the brother has plot armor out the yin yang.
He's just made of like pure solid plot armor.
Pretty much, because he's about 120 pounds. Doesn't look like he can do anything or whatever, right? Oh, and his sister is gaining more and more powers, like to be able to do stuff with computers and whatnot. That what they did not. I don't know if the people who made this whole thing, if they didn't entail for them to be able to do these things, and because they were very shocked when she did something, and they were like, "Did you teach her how to do that?" And they're like, "No."
Nice.
Again, each corporation makes the craziest decisions. Like, she's the body of a 10-year-old, like the mind of a 10-year-old. She's just displaying powers that you didn't intend. Y'all seem to be kind of cool with that. All right, fine. So they go to the ship and they're being led by. All right, so you know how in the Aliens universe they got the white blood androids, right? Who always seem to go a little crazy because they see themselves as perfect and everybody else. Yeah, so they're being basically led by one of those. So it's this one guy, Timothy Oliphant. I think that's who it is. Yeah, so he's in charge of this little squad of 10-year-old adults who probably are not in any real danger because, like I said, they got super strength, super speed, super whatever. They have no training, like none. They just went because she asked to go save her brother or something. So a bunch of stuff happens. A lot of like, okay, good thing I turned my brain off. But like lots of action in the second one. So like I said, overall, it's an enjoyable experience if you don't delve too deeply.
Okay.
No,
Right, if you don't like look at all the plot problems of the plot and stuff.
Right. So, and then you keep in mind they are the Umbrella Corporation in terms of just evil for no apparent reason. Like I don't even know how.
Being evil.
Yeah, I don't even know how it benefits you to be this evil kind of thing. It's like, and well, my confusion is I don't know exactly when this takes place because, and this is why you should never do prequels because they landed on Earth, and if this happened before the other one, like before the Sigourney Weaver stuff, and they were shocked that about these creatures, I'm like, this thing is loose in a city. They have a bunch of other stuff that is loose in the city. So unless it kills everything there, and then you find out at the end there's it laid eggs. So I don't know if, and that's where it also gets confusing. There's eggs for the xenomorphs, but you need a queen to have eggs. So did they take the eggs? Oh, it's like, yeah, and something happens with the eggs where you're just like, really, dude? You going okay?
We'll just overlook that.
No, I watched the first one, and when it auto to the second one, I was just going to go to watch one. I was going to watch the other one yesterday, and I just watched it. No, I'm looking forward to the other one. I am a lot of the critiques I've hear people talk about. I can see where, yeah, I I can agree with various critiques, but I need some dumb entertainment. You know, I I need dumb entertainment, but not stupid entertainment. If you understand what I'm saying,
Oh, okay, yeah.
like Pacific Rim is dumb, but I had an enjoyable time with it.
Yeah, it's not stupid, that's true.
It's just not stupid. It's dumb. It's just not stupid. There's a lot of stuff that been coming out. It's just like, really? Okay. And like that, there's a bunch of crap. Like they're still doing girl boss stuff. Yeah, most of that stuff is stupid. Jurassic World or whatever the hell it's called, that's dumb. It's not stupid. So it still managed to be entertaining, but it's just kind of like, okay, you're just not going to explain why any of this stuff happens. It just kind of happens. Sure. Okay. Come brain off. Just enjoy it. So I would recommend that you watch it just so I can get your opinion on it at least. So whenever you get a chance, check it out. You should.
Okay, yeah, I was planning to get on it.
Okay. All right. Let's get into our first actual topic. Share screen. Have you heard of K-pop Demon? I still haven't watched this yet.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, and then I think they're gonna have like a theatrical release like this next weekend.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Do you want to know how much money Sony made off of this?
I would be interested. It's been popping up everywhere, like on Instagram and Facebook and all that, even the news.
20 million.
Oh, okay.
This thing is like all right, so watching from the sidelines is one of the summer's biggest cultural phenomena unfolds. K-pop Demon Hunters, an anime style musical about K-pop girl group that doubles as a team of monster hunt fighters and became a runway hit on Netflix. At the studio that developed and produced it is seeing little of the upside. The film, released in June, is now Netflix number 2 most watched English language movie of all time, with more than 184 million views and counting. It will easily surpass Red Notice as the streamer's top performing original since by the time its 91-day release window. Netflix metric for tracking viewership info has passed. The soundtrack has also exploded with 7 songs in Spotify's global top 50 and the single golden topping Billboard Hot 100. So by all rights, this is a hit.
Yeah.
All right. So, despite conceiving and financing the project through Sony Pictures Animation, the studio sold the distribution rights to Netflix under a 2021 output deal, according to Puck's Matthew Bellonier. Once again, bad with names. That agreement capped Sony's earnings at roughly 20 million, a fraction of what a theatrical release or long-term franchise ownership might have generated. Netflix, meanwhile, controls sequels, spin-offs, and lucrative music tie-ins, though Sony retains the right to produce follow-up films. Why would you even that's crazy? Because like you had enough faith in this to make it. You had enough faith, but you didn't have enough faith in it to release it. But you figure what? I wonder how much it costs to make. Okay. Okay. Decision reflects the uncertainty of the pandemic era when theaters were shuttered and Sony, lacking its own streaming service, leaned on Netflix as a guaranteed buyer. At the time, licensing titles like this is why Mitchell's versus Machines, Greyhound is seen as a wise move. But the benefit of hindsight, the runaway success of K-pop Demon Hunters underscores the long-term revenue potential the studio left on the table. Whether the film would have been successful in theaters remained a hotly debated question in industry circles. Yeah, there's a whole difference between. See, okay. All right, hold on. Netflix owns a hit movie, but emerging franchises, one spawn sequels. Da, da, da. Okay, stop sharing. All right. Well, there's a world of difference between having something being on Netflix and I'm bored. I watched everything, and let me check this out. Versus getting in my car, driving across town to a very expensive movie theater to watch a movie about K-pop singers fighting demons. All right. Because it has to get past the first week. I can't imagine it would have made that much money in the first week. Now, because so many people saw it, would it have had as much of word of mouth in the theaters? Because that's still me telling you to watch something on Netflix is a world of difference between me telling you to go to see a movie. Because you seen Fantastic Four yet?
No, I still have not.
Right. So that is my point. Is like it's not Fantastic Four is not a terrible movie, but nobody wants to go through all the rigmarole you have to go through in order to go watch it. Right.
Right.
Right. So, who knows? Maybe it's just a perfect storm of not much out, Netflix kind of deal, that kind of thing, Well, all right. Oh, the controversy of James Gunn basically turning the Kryptonians into supers and into Saiyans. They sent their child to another planet in order to take it over.
No.
All right. So you know how there's a digital release Friday for it, like last Friday, right? But apparently, and I don't know how true this is because nobody has commented on it, but James Gunn made a backtrack on Jor-El with digital release of Superman movie, which became available on Friday. Gunn, for whatever reason, changed things up with Jor-El and essentially made Superman's father into a Viltrumite. Right. Basically, this is the Saiyans. Invincible reference, bad guy indeed. The movie makes it pretty clear that the footage was legit, as Lex said it was, even Mr. Terrific. Then Gunn came out in post-release interview and told fans they're shit out of luck. Nice, right from the head of a studio. As I've gone over, no one liked the scene. Even Kevin Smith, who likes everything, didn't like what Gunn did with Jor-El's Superman. It bombed internationally, while at Comic-Con, not one person liked the scene. Also, I know Asians that hated what Gunn did with the Gaiju scene. Really? And how Gunn handled Jor-El, and it sends a message that families of immigrants are evil. They took it personally and felt insulted. All right, that's a bit of a stretch.
I know.
It's like, really? Okay. If you see yourself in giant kaiju monsters and people who from other planets, all right, that's a you issue. All right. So, well, with the digital release of Superman, James Gunn may have changed his things with Jor-El. Eagle Eye fans spotted the following, which seems to reveal that the message was actually doctored by Lex. The Daily Planet shows Luthor was buying the false image of Superman's parents and matches claiming. So, if this stick Gun is making things right, Superman is now out on digital. I don't really get James Gunn, right? I don't. He I don't think he should be in charge of an entire studio. He's good with making team-based things and that are a little quirky, that kind of thing, right? You could probably do be a showrunner and that kind of stuff, but running an entire studio because he's relying way too much on what he likes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because I think I don't know if I was talking to you or somebody about he should just make the Batman like part of his universe. Because then that would put because he's in like year 2, year 3. Superman is in year 3. They will be the pretty much the same age. They are both going through growing pains. Then you can introduce in a few years, because I think Dick Grayson shows up when he's maybe 30. I think when Batman is like 30 or something like that. I think they're like a 10-year or like something like that age difference, right? So then you can introduce Dick Grayson and you can have a sequel, and then you can have another one, and then in that sequel you could actually do Dick Grayson. All right, so you can do Dick Grayson. You can have the whole Tony Zuko and all that stuff, and him dealing with his own issues while not trying to let this kid who suffered a similar thing of watching his parents be killed by somebody else, and that's his whole thing, is to not let this kid turn into him, like have a regular about as regular as being a sidekick to Batman can be, but and that's why Nightwing is basically Batman with a better attitude. Batman is a freaking amazing parent. So then you can do that, even if you need to swap out like who Batman is, like who's playing Batman, then you can still just keep going and just do the whole thing. Then you can do spin-off movies and you can whatever. You got like a whole plan instead of what they're doing now, when they're just gonna go straight to Damian because he likes Damian. Like people like him, don't like Damian. People don't like Damian. There's a lot of people who don't, but he's chose him because he likes him.
Yeah.
That's not the attitude that you have. As one, you have to be flexible. So this is an indication of maybe he's learning to be a bit more flexible, because pretty much everybody hated the fact what he did with Jor-El. Right. Did not like making them into people who are going to one, and it was, again, it's another dumb thing, because Kryptonians are thousands of years more advanced than anything on Earth. There's no way in hell that Lex Luthor, no matter how smart he is, will be able to crack the computer system of a Kryptonian computer. It just wouldn't have happened. So as I'm sitting there looking at this, I'm like, right, that literally makes no sense. The way that he got into the Fortress of Solitude made no sense. Like, yeah, it's been well established that, like with Connor Kent, the reason why he's half Lex and half Kal-El is because they couldn't figure out all of the Kryptonian DNA, because it's different. He's an alien, so they got stuff about him that's probably the stuff that gives him his superpowers that they couldn't figure out. So that's why they made the combination, and it's been kind of established where they can't figure out how he's made. So whenever they do anything, that's when you get Bizarro and various other things, because they cannot make a perfect clone. Since that is the case, this very advanced technology would recognize the fact that he is not a proper Kryptonian. So it wouldn't open the door for him. But that is over speculation, I guess, on my part. So what do you think?
I could see it. I mean, if people didn't like the way that he wrote it, that he should be listening to them, right?
This goes back to, like I keep saying, it is about your customer base. If you're a customer, like, good.
Now, what about you? What you want or want to put out there? It's really what the fan wants,
right?
And those are the ones paying you money. So
yes, and if they haven't figured it out by now, good. Let's see now. Ballerina apparently was not a bad movie. Was a good movie. Bombed. So because people are over the girl boss stuff, there's like a couple of them where it was not girl bossy, but people didn't go see it. So it's like y'all don't. Did you get it yet? It's like, I hope that y'all get it yet. They're just not. If it looks like something that people hate, they're just not gonna go see it. People are not gonna get into their car and drive to a movie theater.
I hope that, that culture is kind of dying down a bit.
Uh,
It's hard to
like
say because, there's still a lot of bad writing out there. So
yeah,
even if they're not like doubling down on the message, the fact remains is that there's still not a lot of good writing.
yeah, because you got rid of everyone who knew how anything worked. No, I remember I told y'all a story a while ago about Disney going back into 2D animation and bringing some of the older directors back.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah, those white dudes who
Old white
actually
dudes.
no, that's basically what it is. Is like you had the Disney, and this is why, like I told you before, the Disney tradition was you teach the younger artists who come in how this works. It's like, yeah, you can draw, but can you draw something that's gonna be like iconic and uh have people connect to? Like we figured out how to do that. And we was cranking out hits because we figured out, oh, okay, if you do that, if you do this, it's kind of like how you got like the same 5 or 6 producers producing every song.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, because they figure
Yeah.
out the Discord. You just gotta like you look at all the popular songs. They have similar chord progressions, right? You know, different notes, whatever. And if you can just go through all of them, and they basically did that. It's like, all right, so if we put these chords together, it's gonna evoke this emotion because it seems to work with people. Because all the hits use the same, like the same kind of stuff. And it's kind of like what Ed Sheeran did when he was sued by the goofballs of the Marvin Gaye family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they won because of blurred lines, but they should not have won. I don't know what that judge was thinking. You can't own a vibe, and essentially that's what they won on. Is the vibe of blurred line was too much like a Marvin Gaye vibe. It's like even though the songs don't sound alike, so they were trying to do the exact same thing with Ed Sheeran. So then Ed Sheeran like sat up on there and played like a bunch of songs that have the same chord progression. Sped up, slowed down, like staccato or like just played slightly different, but it's the exact same chord progressions. So it's like you're just gonna sue everybody who use these. Like you can't own chords. It's just not how it works. Tell these stupid people to go away and stop suing people. But so I mean, I don't know. It is no. It's I don't know how the future is going to bring because you can wind up getting a lot of like if you just go off of that kind of stuff, this technology based, then you can get a lot of generic type stuff where everything's going to sound the same, just like how now everything sounds the same.
I do think like there's less of that though. Like like the messaging and like the doubling down on a certain, you know, like way of thinking or theology or belief and stuff
Yeah,
or
because
ideologies.
they need to make money.
Exactly.
It's like you can have all kind of visions and dreams of how the world should be. Like that's nice. The world works like this. And if you want to keep the lights on, you got to start putting out stuff people want to give you money for. I mean, you can go the way of the dodo bird, as it saying goes. Speaking of which, all right. So you know how Skydance just bought Viacom, right?
I heard about that.
All right. So this is a story based off of. Make sure. All right, Star Trek now a priority at Skydance owned Paramount. Following years of subpar content, Dana Goldberg, now co-chair of Paramount and chair of Paramount Television, made it clear Star Trek is a priority across the company. Statement came during a new leadership's first press event in Los Angeles, following the studio's high-profile acquisition and reorganization. Notably, as a result of the merger and this event, the newly formed company's stock has surged nearly 50%. And we get word via Deadline about Skydance Star Trek plans. David Allison Skydance has been involved with the franchise since Star Trek Into Darkness, giving the company over a decade of financial and production ties to the brand. Now, with Ellison as CEO of the newly formed Paramount Skydance Corporation, Star Trek will be in-house and under direct control. If that indeed is the case, that means Alex Kurtzman and the Secret Hideout production company are out when the contract expires next year. Per the rumors, however, what is not clear is whether Skydance comments at the press event pertain to Star Trek movies alone, or if they also include streaming shows, which Kurtzman has been developing. If you want people to go see your Star Trek movies, you need to get rid of Alex Kurtzman and all the crap and just bury every Star Trek crappy thing as deep as you can and try to promote the old Star Trek, original, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, even Voyager and Enterprise. Push that to the front as much as you possibly can. And just say, come out and say, just like I was saying about Star Wars, this little bit does not exist. It's no longer canon. We are not even going to show this. All right. Deadline adds that Paramount will no longer share profits on major franchises like Star Trek, Top Gun, Transformers, choosing to fully fund them in-house and cut out outside partners. This not only gives Skydance full creative control, but it also means Paramount intends to keep all of the potential financial gains and profits from its big franchises again, if not clear if that includes the Star Trek streaming shows. Update: the Hollywood Reporter report and press event regarding Star Trek, and the report says Star Trek will be looked at holistically rather than siloed off between different parts of the company, which means that Paramount plans to treat the entire Star Trek franchise as one unified brand across film, television, streaming, and other media, rather than handle each part separately. Hopefully, that means that Kurtzman is out. According to the report, 2 Star Trek films are actually in the works. Original character film directed by Andor's Toby Haynes, written by Seth Grahame-Smith, with Simon Kinberg and J.J. Abrams producing. This version introduces new characters, a new crew, and narrative direction. Kirk and Spock return. Another project unites the classic ensemble with Abrams. See, they need to get rid of it. Like, people don't like his version of Star Trek. They actually like this. They need the show that was going to be a spinoff of this. They need to fast track that, because that the actual fan base actually like that. So, I remember my 15 theoretical. Oh, theoretical. What the hell? Damn it! Why the hell I can't keep trying to say theoretical? Theatrical. What? Brain has got fried for a second. 15 theatrical films per year and a near-term goal of 20. Star Trek sits alongside other top priorities like Top Gun 3 and A Quiet Place Part 3. They also confirmed a shift away from made for streaming movies like Section 31, which everyone hated. Theatrical releases and major IP studios focus with a goal to strategically scale the amount of content for our streaming service as well. So maybe that means more Star Trek shows. And as it is known, various producers are pitching Skydance new ideas. Under Kurtzman, Strange New World, so that's 2 seasons. Academy is supposed to have 2 seasons. Dude, they need to dead both of those as quickly as possible. It's like with Star Wars. If Disney wants to fix Star Wars, they need to just actually show Bob Iger walking into Lucasfilm and firing everybody. Because that is the only way you're going to bring the fans back. Same thing with Star Trek. You let this dude come in and with his ideas and completely destroy a very profitable IP, because he doesn't understand Star Trek. It's like with Picard, they had they were trying to do like a race thing or whatever. So Picard lived on like a winery, while the black person who was on part of his crew lived in a trailer park and was hooked on drugs. I'm like, Star Trek had gotten to the point where the entire they had unlimited energy, right? Once you get unlimited energy, nobody's starving. Nobody's starving. Nothing. There is no trailer parks. There's no people on drugs. There none of this stuff on Earth. Earth is a paradise, which has been stated over and over and over and over again throughout the Star Wars universe that Earth is a paradise. There are no poor sections on Earth. There are no, you can't go to different spots. The reason why Picard has a winery is because his family decided to have one. That's it. If you wanted to have a winery, there's probably plenty of space. You can get all the equipment you need, all the stuff. So the fact that they kept trying to do that and then like making her strung out on stuff, and it's like, dude, this is so stupid. You don't understand how the Star Trek universe works. It's complete, like humans completely changed because they had a World War III. They rethought how they did stuff, and again, with the advent of unlimited power, means you can run anything. And then you throw in replicators, which can make anything. Why are you starving? Why are you in a trailer park? Do you want to be in a trailer park? Is that what it is? It's like you're there because you want to be. People join the freaking military because they want to, not because they have to.
Yeah.
Everybody else, like, all right, Benjamin Sisko, his dad is a chef because he wanted to be a chef. That's it. There was no other reason for that. He just decided that's what he wanted to be a chef. He was interested in being a chef, so he just opened up a restaurant, and people came because they wanted something different, as opposed to replicating stuff at home, because you can take what he makes back to your house, plug it into your computer, the replicator, and it can make exactly this exact same thing. So you go there because of the experience. That's it. That's how humans work in the Star Trek universe. Alex Kurtzman did not understand that. So he was trying to make a modern day. I'm like, no, dude. Like, that's not Star Trek.
That's the one that was like really poorly received, right? That series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the dude, he truly does not get Star Trek. It's like he wants to do like one of the ones they talked about, but Section 38. Section 38 was a super under hidden. Nobody knew about it except for like a handful of people. Even Starfleet did not know about Section 31. But his version of Section 31 have their own ships. They have like comm badges, and I'm like, we don't even know how many people are in Section 31, because the only person you saw was one guy on one person on Deep Space Nine. That was the only person you saw through every episode of them talking about Section 31. It was the same dude, same guy. How many of them? I don't know. No, seriously, it is a secret organization that was started like essentially when Starfleet was started. Some of them was like, all right, well, because basically how things were at the time, it was like, all right, there are certain things that Starfleet can't actually do that needs to get done. So an organization was created, and Section 31 is like it is in the Starfleet bylaws or something. There's an actual Section 31 that said something. I forgot what it was. You got like, there's an episode in Deep Space Nine where they actually talk about it. It's like, yeah, there's an actual section in the bylaws that leads to this organization, but nobody knows about it. Alex Kurtzman thought it was cool, so he's like, all right, I'm gonna make a band of crazy people who are going around doing missions. So if they want to save Star Trek, they need to get rid of all these people. Need to fire everybody. But that is the case for everything. Pixar, freaking Lucasfilm. But like what Disney needs is John Lasseter, and Skydance has him, so they're not getting him back. So what do you think?
I agree with you. They need a complete overhaul if they want to survive and make Star Trek into the next, to keep up the success they had in the past.
Yeah,
Because they can't go down the same path as like Star Wars and all the other things that haven't worked out for the current generation.
yeah, because they're not remotely paying attention at all. So it's like,
Yeah, seems like they're really tone deaf with what actual Star Trek uh, people want and how the universe works.
mhm. All right. So there is a wish that Hayden Christensen would like actually he has like hopes for, and this is what I kind of wish that Ricky came, because he's a bigger Clone Wars fan than we are. So he hosts for a live action Clone Wars and a possible Darth Vader project.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and dude,
I would hope for that too, and I'd hope for it to be good.
no, the clips that you saw from like in Ahsoka, I think everybody really liked that. Like, now the budget on this thing will be insane, because essentially you'd have to de-age the guy who played all the troopers. It was like 30 years ago. So he's a 60-something-year-old man. He looks like a 60-something-year-old man. So you'd have to de-age everybody. So you'd have to do de-aging for everything. Well, they can do clone like the bodies and all that, and just stick his face on. So you don't only have to de-age him. So you have to de-age Ahsoka, well, not Ahsoka, because you could just hire that the little girl that they had playing her. And then you de-age Hayden Christensen, you'd have to de-age Ian McGregor. So I don't know. It would be cool, but I can't imagine that would be cheap to do. All right. All right. Many fans weren't too kind to the actor at the time, and Christensen took a step back from acting. That was bad writing on the behalf of George Lucas. But you know how it goes. People blame the actor for the bad writing.
I know, huh?
Dude, I'm like, George Lucas just completely forgot about the story that he hinted at in the original series. Like, the one thing that drove me to, like, when she died at the end of the movie, I'm like, you wrote that Leia knew her mother. So the only reason she would know her mother, and she said that she was sad, I mean, she saw her as she was old enough to realize that this was her mother. The fact that she was sad, that means her mother was in her life for a little bit. And for her to be able to still remember this probably 10, 15 years later. Well, no, she was about, I think Leia was like 18 in Star Wars. And when she had the conversation with Luke, it was in their early 20s. Oh yeah, probably like maybe 10 years. So that means up until about maybe around 10 years ago, her mother was still alive. But George Lucas was like, I want to have a dramatic scene where she dies. Like, so then there's like I saw a picture, I don't know, somebody made a CG picture of Leia going to her mother's grave. Like, I'm like, you already established that she knew her mother. So it was like, but that's George Lucas. He decided that he wanted to have like a hot rod scene in the middle of the first movie, have Anakin Skywalker be an 8-year-old, have a 15-year-old chick hit on him, or 13, however she was. Just weird stuff. I'm like, why did you do any of this? So then the whole sand bit, and it's just like weird how they just did this prequels. Now, my roommate, he's young enough to that's his Star Wars. So yeah, he don't like the originals because everything is clunky. I'm like, well, 1970. 1979. So it was the beginning of the special effects in general. So he's also returned to the galaxy. Yeah, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and return latter with season 2 premieres next year. This weekend Fan Expo, Christensen shared his wish list when asked what the future looks like with him as part of the Star Wars franchise. Yeah, what the hell? I love to get to do some more Clone Wars era Anakin too. I think there are some fun stories there to tell. And if it meant I got to swing a lightsaber with Ian again, that would be amazing. We got a taste of what a live action version of the Clone Wars might be in Ahsoka season 1, and the prospect of Christensen and Ian McGregor reuniting for a full blown TV series or movie set during that time would be surely welcome. I would probably go for a movie because it would probably be cheaper. Wait, you think?
Probably these these projects, well, in general, are not very cheap anymore.
Because it's just so much to it. Well, you could probably have him combine it and have him as Vader, going someplace and having like a flashback of certain stuff happening. So you could do
Mm.
like a combo, combine it into one thing, like a Vader show with him having Clone Wars flashbacks. Because then it will be scenes as opposed to in like a small scene as opposed to an entire episode. Now, who
Oh,
would
I
write?
see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so who would write that? Hopefully, nobody who still works at Lucasfilm. All right, so it's hard to imagine how likely that would be. Just as many fans would like to see Christian take center stage in the Dark Vader project. Addressing those hopes, he said, "I love to do some more stuff in the Dark Vader timeline. I think there's some good meaty stuff there to explore still. If the powers that be decide Vader spinoff is something they would want to see, I'll be there in a heartbeat. 100%. I would love to. It would be amazing to keep exploring his character in both eras." In June, it was reported Lucasfilm was moving forward with a second season of Obi-Wan. Really? Okay. He doesn't leave the friggin' planet. His whole bit is that he stayed on Tatooine to keep an eye on Luke. Like, are you going to send him on another mission where he okay. We have to hear anything official with a decade to go until Ben's demise on Death Star. Any sort of follow up will likely be a Jedi rivalry with Maul by expanding what we saw in Star Wars Rebel. Okay. I don't know, bro. All that stuff sounds interesting, but it's just not in the hands of the people who are in control of it.
The right people. Yeah.
Yeah. Because no, it's like, yeah, that would be cool, but who's gonna write it? It's like a Blade movie would be cool, but look who's writing it, so they can't figure it out. Like, what's to figure out? It's a dude who kills vampires. Pick a setting somewhere in Europe, play a bunch of techno music or whatever in the background.
I love the techno music in the
Yeah.
Blade movies.
Right. So it's just whatever EDM is in popular right now, put that in the background.
They could have Porter Robinson or something.
Yeah. The vampires are always up to something. Have them trying to make everybody into vampires somehow. Pretty simple. Figure out, like, all right, what shenanigans can vampires be getting into that he is trying to squash? Throw some stuff at the wall. It's like, all right, so how are we going to get from point A to point B to point C? How we want to end this so that he can go off, because he doesn't like Blade. He didn't kill all. He killed a nest of vampires. He killed a group of vampires. He didn't kill all of them. And even at the end of the first Blade movie, you showed that he went to another place and it was a different type of vampires. So, like, do that. Do old man friggin' Blade. Everybody would love to see that. Right? It's just I have no, It's hard to not be black pill about stuff. Now I am not as critical on a lot of stuff as I used to be, and like listening to people who are still that critical of everything, they want everything to be perfect. I'm like, if you want it to be perfect, you write it. If not, just it is what it is. Learn to get your enjoyment from the thing that you're getting.
Get
Anything,
good.
yeah, anything that's dumb, yeah, bro. It's like pretty much every action movie in the 80s was dumb. Arnold Schwarzenegger survived a nuclear explosion 5 feet away from the dude who exploded it by being covered in mud. That is dumb. But at the time, it's like, oh, it's cool. What do you think about it? I'm like, it's kind of dumb. It was a small nuke. Like, well, yeah, he was really close, and he ran away and dived in some mud, and that saved his life. Sure, like, oh, I don't know, but there's other stories, but we've been at this for about an hour, so that's usually how much I can handle sweating over here. But well, the good thing about this room is that when it finally gets cold, hopefully it'll be cool outside and it'll still be kind of warm in here. Oh, dude, just from the television and my computer and whatnot. So that bodes well for the winter time. I'm thinking about whether or not I need to get a heater or something. But yeah. All right. So you got work tomorrow. So what you about to get into?
I'll browse some stuff on YouTube probably or Reddit and go to
Oh.
sleep.
Well, see, I don't know when you're gonna be able to, but because if you wait too long, it'll be like each one is in like an hour. So if you wait too long, you're gonna be putting in 5-6 hours of viewing time to watch these damn shows.
That's true.
Plus, Peacekeeper looks interesting, and Ricky wants to watch that. So yeah, something to talk about. All right. So, on the behalf of myself and Mr. Noob Avenger and our missing compatriot, this is the UN podcast. They don't know what UN stands for, but we're out. So, please like, share, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Later.
See ya.